Welcome to Screen to Speed, powered by INIT Esports. In this podcast, we dive into the journeys of remarkable individuals making waves in sim racing and bridging the virtual with the real. From the thrill of digital circuits to the roar of real life racetracks, we explore the passion, dedication, and innovation that drives the world of motorsports. We'll hear from athletes, creators, and pioneers sharing their stories, insights, and the powerful ways sim racing is connecting communities and creating pathways into motorsports. So buckle up, Screen to Speed starts now.
And welcome to the 18th episode of INIT Talks. Yay! Very nice to have you all here today. Hi, Jess. Hi. Oh my god, guys, we are having a special guest today for the INIT Talks. We have Jamie Jessica Martin joining the INIT Talks. Yay!
I'll take it. I'm glad to be here. Really glad to be here.
How are you doing today, Jess? How are you doing?
Not too bad. Taking every day as they come.
Right. So, what are you up to lately? Speaking about sim racing, speaking about commentary and stuff. Because, guys, Jamie Jessica Martin is a commentator, so you might hear her voice everywhere on INIT. On INIT Esports event, especially the Screen to Speed. Which Screen to Speed event were you commentating?
I've commentated quite a few. So I've been commentating for INIT, probably going back to the test race prior to the very first Screen to Speed, and then I've been a commentator for. I've been a commentator for quite a while. I did a bunch of the first couple of series of Screen Speed. I've done the Summer Party. I've done the Holiday Invitational. I've done pretty much everything at this point. Some of the final races of the GT7 series. I kind of have lost track at this point.
Yeah, so you're like the main commentator here in the Screen to Speed.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like being the commentator, like the main commentator in the Screen to Speed?
It's definitely interesting because before this, the only commentary I ever did was via my own projects. And because of that, I never really ended up getting so much kind of external exposure outside of the people that already knew us. So for me, when the opportunity came up and they needed someone to do the test race for the original Screen Speed prior to when they went to Las Vegas, I said, yeah, I'd be more than happy to offer my services. And from there, Steffi kind of stuck with me, and I tell you what, it's been a massive benefit to me because it's allowed me to learn a lot of tricks, a lot of tips. It's allowed me to improve myself as a commentator. And that honestly has been a massive benefit for me. And plus, some of the racing in Screen Speed honestly is fantastic. So I do enjoy being able to just talk about something I love, and also, be able to commentate some great racing.
And which one is the best Screen to Speed event in your opinion?
God.
The most memorable one.
Oh, I would probably have to say the Las Vegas one. While I didn't commentate on it, I was obviously, I'm a team owner. I own part of Prismatic Motorsports, team principal. In that race, obviously, I was up until about 5 a.m. watching what was the final race of 10 drivers, 5 of those drivers at the time being representatives of Prismatic, all racing to win. And the top 2 were, of course, our drivers. The eventual winner, Sish Fitzpatrick, still is. And so I was sitting there with so much going through my head, excited, exhausted, but that was the most memorable because of what an impact that had, not only to our team, but also to Sish specifically, because it felt like a massive goal achieved for everyone involved.
Yeah, the original Screen to Speed is the GOAT, I must say. Like, It's a crazy event. It's like super crazy event. Like for the first time in my life, I'm actually meeting my female sim racer friends. Like in real life, watching the NASCAR and competing at the same time. So we were like racing together, and then after that, we were watching the NASCAR race. It was like one of the most memorable moments in my life, I must say. Like
Yeah. I was very jealous of the experience that everyone got to have. Definitely, I got a lot of secondhand information, a lot of information from a lot of my drivers about everything that was going on. So definitely jealous in the grand scheme of things. But I especially with my I managed to watch NASCAR a couple of years later that year. So to be honest, I managed to watch a NASCAR race later that year. So honestly, I will say I don't blame you. The experience is fantastic. So, and I can't imagine what it was like to actually be there competing in such a big event.
It is. And I feel like the Screen to Speed, the first Screen to Speed event is like really opening the door to all the female sim racers out there. Like, oh, we have an online event coming up, and then you can actually like experience the offline event kind of thing. Because, like normally we have some LAN event happening in Europe, in America, but mostly it's like I don't know, like we don't really see a lot of girls in the competition in the offline event. And then in the Screen to Speed, you see like 20 girls like racing from all around the world, meeting in Las Vegas. It's just amazing.
It is genuinely fantastic. For me, the way, as you know, with Prismatic Motorsports being specifically leaning towards transgender and non-binary people, those who don't necessarily have a major platform within the sport, within sim racing, I love being able to make sure that people are included. And a big thing for me is with INIT Esports, they're doing something very similar for women, and I love it to bits because I just I feel like you have to, for people to get their foot in the door, you have to make it so that the people that the top levels can't ignore you. And because of that, you have to give those people those opportunities, those platforms. And Screen to Speed, Las Vegas, 120% did that. And then obviously the successive events after that have helped do that. And genuinely, it is a massive benefit. And hopefully, my hope is that we will start seeing more women in the sim racing land space. And I can't. Well, I think at this point, with the way things are going, it will become an inevitability rather than a question.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope so. Like, I do really hope to see more and more girls getting into sim racing, getting into gaming in general, because I feel like here in gaming industry, it's kind of dominated by male, of course. Like, it's like, especially here in motorsport, I feel like this is a male-dominated world. We have girls in the industry, but it's not like many of us. So, like seeing the community grow, more girls joining, like, for example, in the Screen to Speed Gran Turismo, we have like lots of new names joining. The girls that I never know exist before, like, oh wow, they're really good. And it's a good racing in Screen to Speed also. Like, so when people say it like, girls cannot be competitive in sim racing, I don't know, I just don't believe that,
At the end of the day, the story comes, obviously, sim racing being so closely adjacent to motorsports. Obviously, the story all comes from the fact that ultimately men have had a head start for a very long period of time. Motorsports really kind of was born out of the fact that these were fighter pilots coming back from, the Second World War, and they were doing something that was considered dangerous. And obviously at the time, there was a very stereotypical opinion of women not, being safe, being homemakers, being, not being in dangerous places. And some women would absolutely break the mold on that. And just, over that time, But now we're starting to see, as the world is starting to understand and also legitimize the fact that women can take part.
Yeah.
You're now starting to see that, and you are starting to see that translate into sim racing as well. And I think, obviously, INIT Esports plays a big part in that.
Yeah.
So, definitely something important.
I would love to see another girl sitting in a real race car, just like what Shirsha did in Screen to Speed. I would love to see any girls in this world, like from video games, and get a chance to like actually sitting in a real race car, driving it in real racetrack. It's just like amazing, you know. And Shirsha actually proved that girls can do it. And she never got into a real race car before. I think Steffi told me that.
She's never gotten into it. She's never gotten into a real car, period.
Yeah. So the Screen to Speed was the first time for her.
Yes. It was.
Wow.
Best point of the documentary was that one line of Saoirse going, well, this will be my first time driving a real car.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that in the commentary.
I remember.
No, in the documentary.
Yeah, because I was doing the presenting of the presentation of that documentary, and I remember while we were watching it, that was my first experience of watching it. I sat there and I was so glad it was muted because I was guttural laughing because of how funny that line was.
Yeah.
But no, genuinely, she is incredible. You know, it does show ultimately sim racing is always. I've said this before in previous podcasts. I've said this to other people, and this is kind of what I've said to others within motorsport, who maybe aren't as attuned to sim racing. Sim racing is, as an entity, it is the closest digitalized version of the actual thing, of an actual competitive event that you're ever going to get. You know, for all that you can do in the virtual space, that you can have competitive Call of Duty, but you can have competitive shooters, but there's no such thing as a real life professional shooting league that would translate. But sim racing does have that, and because of that, we're in such a unique position to really have, we're in such a unique and competitive position, and it's awesome to be able to have people do that, and also see some examples of people go from sim racing and start running real cars, and not only real races, and not only that, but also be competitive. I think that also legitimizes the fact that the story is there's plenty there, plenty to be told.
Yeah, true. And speaking about that, speaking about translating from gaming into real life, yes, I play other games too. Other than sim racing, other than racing games, I'm playing a MOBA games, like a team tactic strategy kind of thing, So yeah, it's nice. I'm quite decent in it, but it's not like you can shoot a thunder in real life. You know what I mean? So sim racing is like you can translate what you learn in sim racing to real life, and Shirsha actually proved that she's really good in the sim. She drives in iRacing, and I saw her iRacing. It's like, okay, she got experience, she's good, she's legit as a sim racer, but she never drive a real car before. And then, Screen to Speed, Steffi, Kalimos throw her into a real race car, and she drove it with the help of Cybra, of course, back in the day. Oh my god, shout out to Cybra Cook. Oh my god, thank you so much for helping my friend. So with the help of Cybra, I think Shirsha was only 2 seconds slower than Cybra. Something like that.
Yeah. No, honestly, it was unreal hearing the stats. Honestly, I think everyone was genuinely shocked about how fast or how competitive that time was in comparison to Sabra, who is, a professional driver. But it just shows, surprisingly, how close. Yeah, sure, the car that they were using in Screen to Speed was it's a completely different car, completely different aerodynamics, completely different ride. So it's not a direct one-to-one, but understanding the track and knowing it, after so many hours spent practicing, getting to the event, competing in the event, winning the event, you've spent so long that honestly, going up against a driver who is professional, who understands the car better than anyone else, but maybe doesn't understand the track, that kind of gap kind of becomes a little bit smaller because someone knows, okay, here's what I was able to do in the sim. This is the braking points. This is the turn. This is where I need to go. It's genuinely awesome that Saoirse though managed to do that. And I mean, it is a memory. You know, I speak with her pretty often, and it's a memory that she holds on for the entirety of her life. I mean, it really is once in a lifetime.
I bet she will remember that forever. Like, yeah, I mean, last night I got my first win in Oval. First win ever. And it was
Congrats.
just like a random lobby, I must say. Like, it's official. You can do official every day. It's not like you can do screen to speed every day. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I got my first win and I cried in the stream. And I couldn't imagine being Saoirse back then. Like, winning like 15 grand and get a chance to fly back to Las Vegas to drive. Oh my god, thank you so much, like Screen to Speed, for everything.
Yeah, they absolutely nailed it. They genuinely did nail it on the day. At least they nailed the experience. And I can imagine, I don't know what the plans are. Steffi's very tight-lipped about a lot of that goes around screen speed in esports plans, everything like that. But it would be nice to see a LAN event once more at some point. That would be awesome. Not just because I am completely biased, and I would feel like it would be of my duty to be casually flown out and commentating those races. But no, genuinely for what it did for so many people, so many brilliant experiences that people had, and really brought them into sim racing, or really fueled their passion for sim racing. It is so important, and it would be awesome to do something like that once more.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully in the future we will have the second version of Screen to Speed Las Vegas, but maybe on different track, different NASCAR track, or hopefully in Europe this time. I want to go to Europe. Like, I want to go to Europe so bad.
Oh, it makes it easier for me.
Yeah,
It makes it easier for me, so I'm not going to complain. Yeah.
Alright, like, if we are having Screen to Speed in Europe, we know where to contact you. Like, Jess, there's an event coming up. You should come and join us.
That's fine. I'll be happy to sit in the queue for in passport control.
You're a
for
part of
for
us now. You're a part
Yeah.
of us. So, of
Yeah.
course, I feel like at this point, Yvonne, and by the way, Alejandro, hi Alejandro, Slow Bird, sorry I ignore everyone. I had like such a good time chatting with Jazz, speaking about sim racing and stuff. By the way, I want to say hello to everyone. Hello everyone, Slow Bird, Alejandro, Yvonne, thank you so much for hanging. Everyone, thank you so much, and welcome to the 18th episode of INIT Talks with Jamie Jessica Martin, our lovely commentator, the Screen to Speed commentator, and also the team owner of Prismatic Motorsports. Woohoo!
Yes. I could obviously one of those people is one of my community. So hi, Lilac. But I'm once again, thank you very much for having me on. And thank you very much for sitting down and listening to me natter for the next hour.
Of course, it's nice. Sorry, it was nice chatting with you so far, and yeah. So now let's talk a bit about being a team owner, because here in the title I put commentator and team owner. Everybody here knows that you are a commentator for the Screen to Speed event. We talk about it, and now let's have a little chat about Prismatic Motorsport. So Jazz, tell me a bit about it. So what's the story behind the name? Why Prismatic Motorsports?
Well, okay. So the name originally was, I think, if I remember correctly, the name was kind of just a suggestion that was made in a group of us that existed in a group chat prior to when the team officially formed. and we said, hey, we would like to compete in an event under a team name. We don't know what we would do. We don't know what name it would be. And we came up with a few. And I think it came down to two. And Prismatic was the runaway winner. Funny enough, I was the only one that didn't vote for it because it wasn't the name I picked. But to be honest with you, I am glad that everyone else was right and I was completely wrong, because Prismatic Motorsports has been, as a name, it's become it's such a perfect identity, and it's been absolutely awesome to have.
And you guys got a very cool livery on the track, because I met some of the Prismatic driver on the track, and I saw some of the Prismatic driver competing in screen to speed. I work on the replay, on the clip, so I know like which team got a cool livery, and Prismatic got a pretty cool one. Who made that?
Me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In fairness, I say me. There is credit where credit has to be due. The design came out, while I definitely was a kind of a major pushing point for the designs that we use, and I do pretty much all of the liveries now myself. I know that obviously there have been people that have contributed to the way the design has worked in the past. I mean, one of our former owners, Judith Cooper, was a massive contributor to that, because she helped build our identity. Going even further back in terms of the color schemes, Claire DeLuca, who was another person that was involved in the running of the team very early on and one of the original founders, she was very heavily involved in picking the colors out. So I can't take all the credit 100%. but no, in terms of livery designs, anything you see from official Prismatic livery is probably something I've sat there for a good couple of hours designing in sim, using Photoshop, just for it. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the color scheme and everything is super cool. Yes, even the Prismatic livery looks stunning. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. To me, it's a scheme that started off very, I think, very unique, and then only got more unique when we had greater involvement with other people. The color schemes, originally it was white, coral, and a stone color. But we found over time that obviously we got sponsorship with a company that supported us quite heavily in the past, Certifiably Diverse. They had a beautiful like a bluish purple that we kind of affectionately known as Blurple. And
that's a cute purple.
Yeah, but we designed it, but when we put it together, it just worked so well that even when the sponsorship ended, we slightly altered the color just a smidge to make it a bit more kind of impactful. But we kept the concept, because honestly, the purple just really made the livery pop even more. So yeah, and obviously that's kind of developed over so many iterations. So
yeah, this looking cool. Yep, I think when I was like driving with Garnet, I remember like you got like a peach color kind of thing. I think like peachy color kind of thing. I love that peach color kind of thing. Love it.
Yes. So that is so officially it's coral, but
coral.
The official color charts, the Pantone color, whatever they call it, is coral, but ultimately it's been affectionately known as peach for so long, because people just found it easier to say Prismatic Peach, and ultimately, no matter how much I tried being pedantic about it, saying it's coral, at this point it just became so ingrained that I just turned around and went, no, I'm just gonna call it peach. It's Prismatic Peach, because
hey, it suddenly become an identity of Prismatic in public. Like, oh, that peach color. Oh yeah, that's Prismatic Motorsports. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly
obvious to see. Yeah, it's obvious to see on broadcast, and I think that was a really good point around our design. So yeah, really, really glad we went with it in the end.
Yeah, And speaking about drivers, how many drivers do you have in the team right now?
So, at the moment, we've got around 7 or 8. No, I guess technically 11 if we include some of the other individuals like our ownership as well that do race quite often. I mean, officially about 11 drivers.
11.
We did have a lot more in the past, but obviously, as we have been trying to sort ourselves out and kind of organize things and really kind of get going, we ultimately wanted to make sure that we did something that was we had a small stable of drivers that we were wanting to showcase, and those 11 drivers obviously have been massively helpful and have raced in so many different series of different levels and experience. It's been genuinely fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like Prismatic drivers, Prismatic got like few like strong drivers on the field. Speaking about in iRacing, like you guys got like a pretty strong drivers there.
Yeah, we're very lucky. Apparently, trans people seem to have the ability to drive very fast as well, which has been really beneficial to us. Obviously, a couple of names spring to mind. Garnet Adams, Sid Fitzpatrick, Rachel Coley, Olivia Hayward. I mean, they've all competed in major series for us or in our name. Of course, Garnet has competed in Screen Speed, Sisha, Screen Speed, and also the British F4 Esports Championship. Same with Rachel Coley. Olivia Hayward has been running, and was actually last weekend running the VCO IndyCar Challenge series on the VCO Challenge, which was pretty significant. So
that's crazy. I know that event.
Major.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh my god. Good luck. Oh my god, the VCO IndyCar. I could never drive an IndyCar.
Yeah, no. I could never drive. I mean, I love IndyCar as a car in sim whenever I have driven it, but I can't imagine the forces, the G force, the loads. I can't imagine ever doing it in real life.
I think I will be like too scared to drive the IndyCar fast. It's just like way too fast, like I don't know if I have the guts to floor it. Like if I get a chance to drive an IndyCar, like
makes sense.
It sounds freaking amazing. I'm sorry for saying the freaking amazing, but I love the sound of IndyCar. I just love it. Like Jesus, I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't really watch a lot of IndyCar. I would love to watch it in the future. Like I don't know.
I don't. Yeah. I don't, in fairness, because obviously with the US being a slightly stunted time zone, it really depends on what circuits it's on. If it's on the East Coast, it's easily accessible. If it's on the West Coast, it's very difficult to watch. But I do every so often watch IndyCar. Of course, I've watched the last couple of Indy 500, which has been really fun. I definitely lean more towards kind of European motorsports, Formula One, and more recently the World Endurance Championship myself. So as you can tell by the shirt.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking about that, you lean more into the European motorsport kind of thing, but you have some American drivers in your team. So it means that basically Prismatic can cover any kind of motorsports. Then, I mean, you like any kind of racing from Europe, like the Formula One and such. Garnet, she's good in NASCAR. Shirsha, I feel like Shirsha is like good in everything.
Yeah, Saoirse definitely has her weaknesses. She definitely has her weaknesses, but her weaknesses are still pretty high bars. I guess is the best way to put it. You use the word weakness very lightly because I don't necessarily think it's accurate. I think she definitely she's good in any car that you put her in, but honestly, her bread and butter is oval. It's NASCAR, and it's touring car, which is a special kind of madness that I honestly sit there and go, I don't know how you could do it.
And speaking about having like bunch of strong drivers in your team, I must say you have bunch of strong drivers in the team. So do you guys like practicing every day? Like how do you like run the team, like handling bunch of experienced drivers in one team?
So in fairness, it's a bit of an interesting one because of the way that Prismatic Motorsports is set up. We have our drivers, our official drivers, and and we do organize like the events and everything like that. But it's also a community as well of transgender and non-binary individuals. So because of that, a lot of the management of what the day-to-day is goes into the basics of managing the community as well as the team, because we feel like the community helps breed the potential of, it gives us a watching ground to sit there and go, oh, you're really fast, and oh, you've got a great mentality, and we think we can do something with you. And that kind of works out really well for us. But in terms of the way we do our events, a lot of the drivers do practice in their own time, just purely through wanting to race, wanting to have some fun, try something. Some just find a niche that they really love racing in. I mean, Olivia, for a long time, of course, her niche has been getting into an IndyCar and racing. For other drivers, Rachel Coley, more specifically, she prefers running in endurance series. So because of that, she often than not is practicing in endurance cars. Plus, she's kind of an alien anyway, because she seems to just be able to just drive fast.
Just able to drive fast. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I want to have that ability in life, like just able to drive fast.
Yeah, it's really unique. And I mean, Garnet, in all credit, Garnet drives whatever she thinks is fun, and that works really well for her.
Yeah, Garnet is more like, oh, fun combo, let's do it. YOLO.
Yes.
She will be like
that. Yeah. Yeah, she's very much like that. But they do a lot of that in the out. I guess as I can call it, the outer season, the out season. They tend to do a lot of stuff like that. But if we ever then go into major events, depending on the level, it will depend on kind of our involvement. So for slightly smaller series, which we feel that don't necessarily need to be as intensive, we tend to do just a very simple, you practice in your own time, we'll provide you the bits we need, you need to do well. And a lot of the drivers will talk between each other and start saying, okay, this is what I'm finding works for me. And that tends to work really well. It's kind of like a natural cohesiveness. Whereas for the more major events like the British F4 Esports Championship, where you have to be a lot more on it, we tend to book out training time. We tend to sit there, communicate with our drivers. So we'd have a dedicated spotter for each driver, as well as me being over the top, kind of just keeping things under control and listening in and trying to understand if there's anything that needs to be brought up. But yeah, it's so ultimately for us, there's a lot more organization. But yeah, it very much depends on the kind of the intensity of that league.
Right. So yeah, I mean, if it's like a major event, like for example, Prismatic Motorsport going to race in iRacing special event in the top split, then you will put all the time and effort into that one. So basically, like you see on, like on
exactly. Right. Exactly. I mean, in fairness, special events for us aren't necessarily as critical. We honestly, for us, the special events are a great opportunity to invite our community in and then have them potentially just represent us and also have some fun, because ultimately the one thing about sim racing is it is fun, and it should be fun. It doesn't always have to be super serious. And because of that, the special events are a great option for that. But we do run in serious serious events, and we still plan to continue to do so. So definitely made massive. But other than that, a lot of the involvement is behind the scenes. It's, at least from my perspective, it is kind of making sure that all of the pieces are in place for people to succeed. Not just me, but obviously the rest of the directors in Prismatic, of course. Roxy Gibson, Georgie Mackay, Bree Widener. So all of them are contributing to that. But also we're then looking at, okay, how do we give people everything they need? So for us, we're then looking at contacting people for sponsorships. We're then looking at working with different parties. We're then looking at, okay, if we need to pay for an event, how are we going to contribute to that? What can we contribute? What can we help with? And that tends to be a massive undertaking that, honestly, without it, I don't think you have the ability for drivers to get to that level. And I think that's a big part of it, is the massive background stuff.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that your driver feeling comfortable, focus on driving, focus on doing whatever they like. And like, for example, like if they want to do endurance, go, I will help you with that, something like that.
Yes.
So it's like your job as a team owner kind of thing.
It is, yeah. My job is to ultimately make people feel comfortable. I and the rest of the board board of directors at Prismatic, we need to carry the heavy load. We have to have the pressure on our shoulders of figuring out what those drivers need to be successful. And it's because ultimately our aims are, we have like we when we started, we created and we had a we had a set of goals, 3 goals that we specifically go by. Provide opportunities to transgender and non-binary sim racers, to elevate transgender and non-binary talent within sim racing, but also within esports in general, and then to advocate, using the fact that we have a very unique platform, we want to advocate for greater inclusion. So because of that, every decision that we make, we're making those decisions to ultimately help push the pressure off of the drivers, so that the driver can then go, right, okay, all I need to do is get behind the wheel, practice, and drive. And that's honestly a big part of it. It's dealing with the stuff that most people wouldn't want to do, but you need to do to be successful.
True. And which one in your drivers you think that got the potential to shine bright, to be
that's really tough.
Okay,
that's
tough question
really
now.
tough.
Time for tough questions.
Okay,
which one in your drivers
most likely to translate from sim racing to an actual race scene? I would have to say Saoirse, but that's just purely for the simple reason that Saoirse is a very unique case. And she already has obviously driven a race car, as we know, as we discussed earlier. But also, she is incredibly dedicated. She is incredibly, she just has a very unique mentality. And she just loves, she also just loves being able to do things and enjoy herself. I mean, she now does professional wrestling practice as well. So she's not averse to the potential risks of things. So I think that ability to be able to do something you enjoy and not be restricted by fear is like a massive thing that honestly I think would be a massive benefit if she ever decided that she wanted to drive professionally.
Yeah. So how is she doing now? Like what's she up to and stuff, like what are her plans in the future, speaking about her sim racing career and stuff?
I can't necessarily attest to very much of it. I know that Saoirse is racing in a bunch of events. We're kind of coming up to our busy season, so there might be a couple of things that Saoirse might potentially take part in. But I'm not sure as of this moment. I would say that she's very much just enjoying herself, She's enjoying her life. She's enjoying her sim racing. She's enjoying her passions. And honestly, I think that's awesome. Hopefully, with stuff coming up, we should hopefully be in a good place. I can't say anything more, unfortunately.
Okay.
I will say though, there is one thing that she will be doing that I think people will be very excited to watch.
Oh yes, please. Oh my god, I would love to see her more. Like, I don't know, like, oh my god, Kirsha, you won a race. You sit in a real race car. I want to see more. Like, I want to see more. You know, like, you're the winner. Come on, show up. We want to see you. You know what I mean? Like,
if you could pull her away from the squared circle where she's doing pro wrestling training, then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I would love to see Kirsha like fly even higher than where she's at right now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, you're a sim racer. You got a chance to drive a real race car. I would love to see you like grow, you know, to become like, I don't know, because I don't know what her ultimate goal in life, as in like, does she really want to be a race car driver or not? I don't know, but you know, when she wants to take a path to be a real race car driver, she knows where to go, as in like, you know, like,
yeah, she's made the steps. She's ultimately done the big steps. I know she got her Racing Ireland racing license sometime last year, so she can technically race in lower category. So that is, you know, she is in the right space. She is in the right path. So that doesn't surprise me. So it's interesting to see. I think she's figuring out a lot about her life right now. But yeah, if she decides that she wants to do to go into professional racing, or if she wants to go into more serious sim racing events, then obviously we're here to help her. Is the big thing.
You'll be there to support her, to help her.
Yep.
And we are here in Screen to Speed, in INIT Esports family. Of course, we will try to do our best to support her in many ways, because again, she's our OG Screen to Speed winner. So she will be a part of INIT Esports and Screen to Speed forever, you know, like one day if we have like a headquarters, I would love to have the Screen to Speed Hall of Fame kind of thing, like, you know, like displaying the picture of the winner of every Screen to Speed. That's like one of my goal. If one day like we're having like a big headquarters, like having the display, for example, this is Hirsha from the Screen to Speed Las Vegas with, I don't know, the picture of her like in a race car, in a race suit, something like that. It will be like super cool to watch. Like, office tour.
Yeah, of course.
Like that, you know. Office tour. And anyway, yes. So, I got like few last question for you. Like, yeah, few more question for you. So, okay, let's get into it. So, what are the challenge for you as a team owner?
Well, I mean, I said this a little bit earlier. I kind of alluded to it. A lot of it is dealing with the stuff that people don't necessarily want to deal with.
Sure.
It's the whole maintaining people's happiness, dealing with a lot of frustration as well, because sometimes you do make mistakes or you do miss things, and drivers and other community members come up to you and go, "Hey, this isn't quite right," and it's having the mentality of just being able to go, "Yeah, you know, you have a point. Let's try and figure out what we can do." It's also, especially with our profile as well, we tend to be one of the first kind of groups of people that get contacted when something happens external to us. So we tend to end up being a bit of a, unintentionally, we do end up becoming a bit of a monolith at times, and it's very difficult because you're having to maintain a professional relationship while also being yourself, being true to yourself, and being honest. There's also the fact that, ultimately the big thing is the money. It's the organizing. It's making sure that everything is put together. I mean, for me, I spent a lot of the first couple of months of this year having to organize and sort out business documentation and business registration in the UK for Prismatic, and transferring business ownership from the US or partially doing so.
Those
So there's a
kind
lot
of,
of it's a
things.
massive it's a massive arduous process that most people wouldn't want to do, but at the end of the day, for us to be able to succeed, we have to do it. And sometimes it's essentially having to be a bit of a jack of all trades and really covering things. But ultimately, when you do that and you are successful, those around you tend to see that success. Essentially, running Prismatic and running this team I would tend to say, is a second job for me. I leave my 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 technically, and I come home and then I'm there for Prismatic. So if there's anything that I need to do, it gets done then in that time after. Luckily, hasn't been as prevalent as we've managed to do a lot of the kind of the heavy lifting recently, which is great because it means I can actually have a life outside of Prismatic at times.
You can touch the grass.
Yes, I can touch grass. Funny enough, I joke about that all the time. But yes, it is honestly fantastic that. But it's ultimately the blood, the sweat, the tears that make it worth it, and you're able to do great things. You're able to put people in, screen speed. You're able to put people in the British F4 Esports Championship. You're able to provide support for a driver entering the top level of IndyCar esports on iRacing. You're able to host a charity event, which was very well attended and raised thousands of dollars for charity, for a good cause. It's all of this comes together. It's the end product is the blood, the sweat, the tears.
Of course.
Honestly, just becomes worth it.
It's worth it in the end, like all the effort, time, energy, everything that you put into this. Yeah, when something goes as you expected, like it's just like beautiful, like we made it, And is there any moment in your life in Prismatic that make you saying like, I did it or we did it?
There's too many to count at this point. I mentioned mentioned all of them there. I think for me, you get them every once in a while. When we won Screen to Speed, and I had to put on the social media because I was the one posting at the time. I put Screen to Sergio Fitzpatrick is your Screen to Speed Las Vegas champion. That was kind of a big thing because I was like, wow, she's just won $15,000. She's just done something that ultimately very few sim racers would ever be able to do in any way, shape, or form. I guess when Christina Ryan ran in with our support in the college eNASCAR college series, being one of 2 of the first women to ever race in a official eNASCAR sanctioned event. With of course with Athena Leclerc, who also qualified. That was a big moment because suddenly we were being acknowledged in the big leagues. Our logo was on the back of that truck, and that was like really awesome. Our logo was on the Xfinity car the next time she attempted it. That was awesome. Yeah. I think obviously Race for a Cause 24 earlier this year, seeing the positive response, the amount of money we raised, and seeing how people reacted to it, I sat there and I went, wow, we made it, and we made this. And I think more recently was last weekend when Olivia ran in the VCO IndyCar Challenge event, and it was weird when I was able to see the spotters guide that they post every week, which shows the drivers, the liveries, the numbers, and seeing our livery, seeing Prismatic Motorsports, seeing Olivia Hayward alongside some of the best sim racers on the service, being against teams like Redline. It's insane, and we sat there and we go, wow, okay, we really have made it. British F4 was very much the same. When you're suddenly in a car as an independent team, one of the smallest teams on the grid, and you're suddenly racing in a series that is competed by teams like Williams Esports and
like
Guild and
names.
the really massive names in esports, and suddenly you're like, wow, okay, we really did that. We really have gone above and beyond here.
Yeah, yep. I feel like you, the Prismatic is like, eat everything and leave no crumbs right there. Like, we take everything. Like NASCAR, let's go. IndyCar, let's go. British F4, let's go. You're just let's go in every way.
Well, people, we find opportunities, they come about, and we've been very lucky to hop on those opportunities when we've had them. And ultimately, that's been to our benefit. And obviously, specifically to the driver's benefit mostly. But yeah. No, we've been very lucky with our we've been very lucky with what we've been able to achieve, but also we've done a good job in maintaining a lot of those relationships so that ultimately we continue to get those opportunities. And I think that's a big thing as well. It's easy to appear in something once and then never do it again. Yeah. It's maintaining those relationships so that people want you back. And I think that's also a massive thing as well.
That's important to maintain the relationship. I don't know, I feel like it's more important than building the relationship at the start. Maintaining is like harder and it takes more effort, I must say,
Yeah, no, it's definitely very difficult because you're having to build relationships and maintain relationships, and that is a skill in itself, and definitely is something that is you have to learn. But honestly, once you learn it and you're able to talk about what you do in the right way, people become interested. When you say, or when people see, even people that aren't necessarily directly related to motorsport, I was approached in my 9-to-5 job yesterday by someone going, you own a esports team, don't you? Sim racing one. I'd love to have a chat with you about that at some point.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, yeah, no, I do. Yeah, it's people become interested because they sit there and they go, wow, this is so out of the ordinary. This is awesome, though. And I think that's what really works out quite well.
Right. And you mentioned earlier, like, we've been very lucky with everything we've got now, something like that. And I don't know, I think for me, I don't know if you, Prismatic Motorsports, are lucky or that's the price that you get in the end. Because I feel like from the very start, like I'm having a chat with you, I feel like you're like that type of person who wants to take a chance. Whenever you see the chance, you will get it. And that's how I see in Prismatic, like all of you like taking a chance. See the IndyCar, I want to compete. Saoirse, everyone like, oh, I see screen to speed, I want to compete. So at this point, I don't know, like I'm not sure if Prismatic are lucky or that's the price for you guys because you took a chance,
I think there is an element. I think a big part of it is making your own luck. And obviously taking those chances, taking those opportunities, giving, stepping in or trying to do things. It is a massive, that is a massive part of it. I think there is an element of luck in the fact that that these events have come up when they have, which has been massively helpful for us. But yes, absolutely. When those opportunities come knocking at the door, we tend to say, okay, if we want to do this, let's take the chance, let's take the risk. And it just happens that it pays off, and we're very happy with that. So,
I'm happy for you. Like, you show me, not just me, all of us here in the INIT Talks. Like, if you want it, get it, take a chance, YOLO.
Well, that's it. INIT Esports have done it already, and they're a great example. It's Steffi taking risks very early on, making her own luck, and that luck ending up panning out. It's sometimes, obviously I'm not going to advocate do the riskiest thing possible every single time, especially if there's money on the line. But if you do genuinely believe in what you're doing, you do genuinely believe that you've got everything in place to be able to make it happen, honestly, taking that risk is worth it, because ultimately, what's the worst that's going to happen? Someone says no, or you fail.
Yeah.
But you know what? You failed trying to do something you believed in. Whereas if you don't try, you're always going to be asking the question, well, what if I had done so?
Yeah.
And I think that it's that ultimately that is kind of a massive driving force.
True. Yeah. True. And down to the last question before we end the stream today, before we end the interview. All right. Okay, so Jess, how do you see the Prismatic Motorsport in 5 years from now?
Well, that's tough because I tend to only look at things from a very mid-term perspective.
Short terms kind of thing?
Yeah, so semi-short term, so not completely short. I'm always kind of mentally trying to operate like a year ahead, but not too far ahead, because you can never expect the world. The last couple of years have proven it. The world can throw absolutely, they can throw absolute curveballs at you. But
how do you
ultimately,
see it in 1 year? Then?
Yeah, I guess in 1 year, I would tend to say growth. I would tend to say we would be competing in some more serious events, potentially have a few more highly competitive drivers that represent us, hopefully have continue our relationships and growth with potential sponsors and or current sponsors, so that we can help ultimately fund our drivers or provide them the necessities and the ability to give them that help, to give them that in. And I think that's a big thing, but also running a community, because at the end of the day, a big part of it from the start has been our community, which helps breed our esports team. And honestly, growth of that and the continued success of that, and it is really important, because without it, you don't have people that are willing to do something as important as potentially come out, because a lot of these people support each other. A lot of people have made massive life changes and massive life decisions, stuff that is very hard for people. Coming out as a transgender person or a non-binary person is a big thing. Having a community where someone can be themselves without any questions, without any judgment, is massive, and ultimately it's meant that people have, outside of sim racing, have made positive steps in their life, and I think that honestly is a big thing as well. So maintaining that is a big thing. So growth really is a big thing. Stability and growth, I guess, is maybe the words I want to use.
That's stability and growth. And I really wishing you tons of success, not just you, but also the whole Prismatic Motorsport crew. Like, I'm wishing you all the best. I really hope Ohe can make it. Like, I don't know, like, how is she doing in the standing, but how is she doing?
Yeah, so in this case, the way it works is that it's in terms of in terms of the way it works, they have kind of like qualifiers where they qualify in like 3 groups, and the top 11 of those qualifiers then get put into the main event. So it was her first race last time out, and she didn't qualify from her group, but her group was incredibly stacked, and she also got very unlucky. But there's definitely opportunities coming down the line, because she absolutely has the pace to be there. So we've treated it as a very much, and I know this was what I was saying to her at the time. This is the fact you've gotten here is incredible. You're going to get an opportunity again, but we're going to learn from this, and honestly, that's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, I mean, drivers who made it into that event are highly exceptional drivers. So Ohe is already exceptional. Okay, so she's good amongst all the best. Okay, so I mean, okay, she didn't make the qualifying last time, but she will definitely make it next time. She will learn from here and go from, I believe
she's gonna get her opportunity again. That I know. She was invited on merit, and she will continue to be invited on merit should she get the opportunity. And ultimately, she's gonna get her moment. And That's
Her
the
time
same with
will
all of
come.
our drivers. That's the same with all of our drivers. It has been the ones that are really talented and dedicated. They're going to get their moment, and ultimately we'll be there to help them every step of the way.
Mhm. And we would love to see her succeed, and I really hope all of us can celebrate her success when that day comes, because we were there when Hirsha celebrating live in Vegas. So I would love to see more prismatic driver making it, and just be good in whatever they like. Like if they like IndyCar, be good at it. If they like NASCAR, be good at it. I would love to see all the drivers in Prismatic Motorsport success. And anyway, before we end the stream, if people wants to find out about Prismatic Motorsport, about what you've been up to lately, so where do we find you on internet, on social media? Feel free to promote it.
Cool. Yeah. So of course, Prismatic Motorsports. We've got a website that does it's a landing page at the moment. It's a work in progress that we're working on, but it does provide you all of our social media. That's prismaticmotorsports.com. If you want our specific Twitter, it's at Pris Motorsports. On other platforms, it's at Prismatic Motorsports. We have a Twitch, but we tend to only really stream there for the special events. So that's at Prismatic Motorsports. Other than that, of course, if you're interested in potentially wanting, if you're a transgender or non-binary person that's interested in sim racing and you're over the age of 18, then you're more than welcome to reach out to us on those social media platforms, and we'll be happy to have a chat with you and see if you would be welcome into our community, because obviously we want to make sure that we allow for people to come in and share their experience.
Yep. Thank you so much. So all social media, Prismatic Motorsports, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Prismatic Motorsports pretty much everywhere, other than Twitter, which is at Pris Motorsports. Other than that, myself, I don't tend to post quite a lot, but I'm usually on, once again, I'm on Twitter at Jamie Jess Martin, Instagram at Jamie Jess Martin. So yeah, you can always follow me there, and sometimes I'll post, but it depends. Usually it's not often about sim racing all the time. Sometimes it's about motorsports. A lot of the time it's probably about me watching football. So,
Me watching football. Oh my god. Anyway, hi Arya. Hi Naomi. Oh my god, Naomi Rose. I love your name, by the way. Hi Arya, Naomi. Very nice to have you here today. I'm very new to this community, and I have to say it's given me so much more hope and energy. You're so glad you found the Prismatic. Oh, Arya, by the way. Hi, Arya. Big hug. Sending everyone a big virtual hug. To Naomi, Arya, Yvonne, Alejandro, everyone. Big hug. I'm so happy, by the way. So very nice to have you, Arya. And in fact, yes, we will have the Fall Cup coming up real soon. So maybe some of the Prismatic driver can join. Maybe.
Well, I definitely imagine that there'll probably be one or two that do. I can't. Yeah, I can't imagine that. Yeah, I can't imagine that won't be the case. In terms of me commentating, I'll have to wait until to see what Steffi wants. If Steffi wants me, Steffi can have me. So that's the way it works. So yeah. So if the Fall Cup comes around and she wants me to be part of the commentary, do the commentary, then she's more than welcome to have me.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm quite excited for the Fall Cup, and I would love to see more Prismatic driver joining, because I would love to see your car, your livery on the track, so we can take like a cool picture, cool clips, and everything. So just.
Well, yeah, no, there's definitely plenty there. If there are events that we do, definitely the livery will show up, or one of my liveries will probably show up at some point. 100%.
You gotta flex that livery because it's looking cool. You gotta flex that out.
Definitely plenty of opportunities.
Yeah. And anyway, anyone here, if you wanna join the Screed to Speed Fall Cup, it's coming up real soon. So it will be in iRacing. So if you're playing iRacing and you're thinking about, oh, maybe I want to start like getting into the competitive part of sim racing, you can join the Screen to Speed Full Cup. Feel free to follow us on social media at INIT Esports and at Screen to Speed to stay updated with our latest news and competition, of course. And guess what? Yes, I think you should tell this to your drivers. So basically today is the first day that we announced the qualifying race for the global esports game, which coming up in December. So you should tell your Prismatic drivers to join and
I did see this before the stream. Yeah, I definitely put it out there. I guess also a mention, just because I do this on stream myself for commentary, other than obviously the website, which is down below me somewhere, where you can find information. Of course, it's not just iRacing. It is
oh no, wait, yes.
Which is the Formula 1 24, which I know that you race in. So, there's other series that are doing as well. So so there's plenty to do. So if you're interested in you're and you're also and you want to figure out if you're eligible, then other than the social media, you can use the website at the bottom of the screen there, www.screenspeed.com, and you can find out more.
Yay! If I join anything more than drifting, I will be more of a lawnmower and off the track cutting the grass. If it makes you fast, it's fine. Oh my god, Naomi! Oh my god, my drifting buddy! Oh my god, why am I saying drifting buddy? Like I'm drifting too. No, I never done any drifting, but I would love to get into drifting one day. By the way, Naomi, very nice having you. Sending big kiss for everyone. And yes, by the way, I'm so sad we have to end the stream for now. But
no.
Hey, I would love to have you as a commentator. Whenever we are having the Screen to Speed event, I will let's have Jess, because you're like a part of INIT Esports family now at this point. So I would love to have you as a commentary again. And oh god, it's so nice to have you here in INIT Talks. Love you.
Yeah. No, definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and I'm wishing you tons of success for all the Prismatic drivers and for yourself also as a team owner. Wishing you tons of success, and I would love to see Prismatic Motorsport grow, and hopefully we will have more and more Shirsha in the future from Prismatic.
I'll let her know that you do.
Yes, so... Anyway, oh my god, thank you so much once again, Jess, and everyone here in the chat, 20 people, thank you so much for hanging with us, for, I don't know, listening to us talking about sim racing every Thursday. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all, and hopefully I will see you guys next week, next Thursday, with the new guests. And thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much, Jess. See ya, everyone. Oh my god, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, Michael. Bye. I will see you guys. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
INIT Esports focuses on sim racing events and digital tournaments. They bring esports content to fans and sponsorship opportunities to brands while maximizing audience reach across multiple sports, industries, and platforms. INIT Esports is a woman-led company where diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility is in their DNA. And their platform aims to combat bullying and cheating to help make the esports world as safe and fair as possible. To learn more, be sure to log on to www.initesports.gg or follow them on social media at INIT Esports. Join their Discord, check out their YouTube channel, or follow their live content via Twitch.
This episode has been brought to you by Grand Touring Motorsports as part of our Motoring Podcast Network. For more episodes like this, tune in each week for more exciting and educational content from organizations like the Exotic Car Marketplace, the Motoring Historian, Break Fix, and many others. If you'd like to support Grand Touring Motorsports and the Motoring Podcast Network, sign up for one of our many sponsorship tiers at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. Please note that the content, opinions, and materials presented and expressed in this episode are those of its creator, and this episode has been published with their consent. If you have any inquiries about this program, please contact the creators of this episode via email or social media as mentioned in the episode.